All right, so every once in a while, a company drops an earnings report that just makes you stop and stare. You kind of have to read it twice to make sure it's not a typo. Well, Xiaomi, yeah, the phone company, just did exactly that. And let me tell you, these numbers, they're not a typo. They're a full-blown revolution.
So let's just start with the headline number. In the second quarter of 2025, Xiaomi's total revenue just exploded. It shot up by 30.5% compared to the exact same time last year. You have to understand, for a company this massive, that kind of growth is absolutely insane.
And that big revenue number doesn't even tell the whole story. I mean, look at this. It was a clean sweep. Total revenue hit a company record of 116 billion yuan. Gross profit jumped almost 42%, and their adjusted net profit, it soared an incredible 75% to another all-time record. Every single key metric wasn't just up, it was shattering records.
Which, brings us to the obvious question. We all know Xiaomi as a phone company. So what's going on here? Did everyone on the planet suddenly decide to buy a new Xiaomi phone? Or is something else happening?
And that leads us right into our first section, the new growth engine. Because what we're about to see is a fundamental shift in what Xiaomi even is as a company. And honestly, it happened way faster than anyone could have predicted.
Let's just hit rewind for a second. Go back 1 year to Q2 2024. This chart, this is the Xiaomi we all thought we knew. Almost 93% of their business came from what you'd expect, smartphones and their massive ecosystem of smart gadgets, what they call AIoT. And that tiny little slice, just over 7%, that was their brand new bet on electric cars and other crazy ideas.
Okay, now, fast forward to today, and wow, just look at this. That tiny little 7% slice, yeah, it just exploded. In just 1 year, the EV and innovation business has more than doubled its slice of the pie. It's now responsible for over 18% of the company's entire revenue. That's not growth, that's a seismic shift.
And if you think that chart is wild, wait till you see the actual numbers behind it. The revenue in that one segment jumped from 6.4 billion to 21.3 billion yuan. That's a 233.9% increase year over year. And the truly shocking part? All of that astronomical growth is basically coming from one single brand new product. Electric cars. Yep, in just 3 months, from April to June of 2025, Xiaomi delivered over 81,000 electric vehicles. Now, to give you some perspective, a lot of established EV startups would kill for those numbers. It takes them years to get there. For a company that had literally never built a car before, this is almost unbelievable. It puts them in the big leagues overnight.
And the crazy thing is, the demand is just getting started. When they launched their first SUV, the YU7, they racked up 240,000 locked-in pre-orders in the first 18 hours. Let that sink in for a second. These aren't just maybes, these are people putting money down. They sold 250,000 cars in less than a day. So, okay, it's undeniable, Xiaomi is now a serious car company. But that brings up a really important question, which leads us to part 2, beyond the smartphone. With all this hype and all this money pouring into cars, what happened to the business that got them here in the first place?
You'd probably assume that, right? I mean, with billions being spent on car factories and all this new R&D, their original business, the phones and gadgets, must have taken a back seat. But this is where the story gets another surprising twist.
And here it is. This is fascinating. Their smartphone revenue actually dipped a tiny bit, down about 2%. But look at the column right next to it. Their other core business, all the smart TVs, the air conditioners, the smartwatches, the headphones, it didn't just grow. It absolutely boomed. Revenue from their IoT and lifestyle products shot up by a massive 44.7%.
I mean, don't just take my word for it. The company said it themselves in their report. This part of the business hit an all-time high of nearly 39 billion yuan for the quarter. So this wasn't just some side hustle picking up the slack. This was a core part of the company firing on all cylinders. And you can really see the power of this ecosystem when you look at the sheer scale. In just 1 quarter, they shipped over 5.4 million air conditioners. They became #1 in the world
for wearable band shipments. And they're getting super close to having 1 billion, that's billion with a B, of their smart devices connected to their platform. This is the secret weapon that people often forget about. Which really brings this all together in our third section, powering the future. Because this incredible success in both cars and smart home devices at the same time, it's not a coincidence. It's all part of a very deliberate and very expensive master plan. This right here is Xiaomi's official game plan. They call it Human X Car X Home, and the vision is pretty clear. They want to build one single, seamless world where your phone, your car, and everything in your house are all intelligently connected and just work together. You see, the car isn't a separate business. It's the next huge piece of the puzzle for the Xiaomi universe. And they are absolutely putting their money where their mouth is. To make this vision a reality, they invested a massive 7.8 billion yuan into research and development in this one quarter alone. That's a 41% jump from last year. This is a company that is aggressively spending to build its own future. And this money isn't just being thrown around, it's laser-focused. It's going into core tech like AI. And it's funding a huge global push that has already made them the #1 smartphone brand in Southeast Asia and #2 in Europe. This isn't luck. This is strategic, well-funded execution.
So, let's tie this all together in our final section, Xiaomi's big transformation. We've seen the insane growth, we've seen the twin engines of cars and IoT, and now we see the strategy that's powering the whole thing.
You know, when you just lay it out on a timeline like this, the speed of it all is just, it's breathtaking. They were founded in 2010. A year later, they had their first phone. By 2015, they were a huge player in smart home gear. And now, in 2025, they've become an EV juggernaut. It's just wild. The conclusion from all of this is actually pretty simple, but it's really profound. It is time for all of us to update how we think about Xiaomi. This is not just a phone company anymore. It's a true, diversified tech giant with a powerful ecosystem that now spans your pocket, your home, and, yup, your garage.
And that leaves us with one final, absolutely fascinating question. Xiaomi has done what many thought was impossible. They become a major car maker, basically overnight. The launch was a home run, but the real race is just getting started. Can they keep this incredible momentum going against the established giants of the global auto industry? Now that is the multi-trillion-dollar question.